The governments of Guyana and Brazil in December 2017 signed a complementary arrangement to the 1982 Technical Cooperation Agreement made between the two states. This complementary agreement proactively addresses the issues of water scarcity and climate resilience in the Deep South Rupununi in Region 9 Upper Takatu Upper Essequibo, with the drilling of 8 wells in communities historically affected by droughts. Hello, welcome to InfoHub Extended. On this program, we take a look at the recently concluded Deep South Wells project.
The well drilling operations were jointly executed by the Engineering Corps of the Guyana Defence Force and the 6th Battalion of the Brazilian Armed Forces. The wells were drilled in Aishalton, Chircadarnau, Crowdarnau, Achuib, Aruranau, Maruranau, Shia and Baishandram at a depth of 250 meters or 800 feet. At a welcoming ceremony held at the Lethem Amerindian Hostel for the Brazilian team that arrived on October 1, Minister of State Joseph Harmon said the significance of the project should not be underestimated, as it will meaningfully improve the lives and livelihoods of residents in the targeted communities. 2 of the wells were drilled by the Guyana Defence Force. Minister Harmon noted the importance of knowledge transfer and capacity building of Guyanese in the area of well drilling techniques. He said soon Guyana will be in a better position to drill its own wells, not only at the technical level, but more importantly, at the community level.
This is significant because our community members are the real first responders. This well drilling operation will be jointly executed by the Engineering Corps of the Guyana Defence Force and the Brazilian Army Engineering and Construction Battalion, BEC.
The completed wells will be monitored and evaluated by the Civil Defense Commission, or the CDC, which is the coordinating agency that determines how these structures have impacted the communities. Director General of the CDC, Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, said Guyana has embraced the concept of comprehensive disaster risk management while pointing to climate change and the corresponding effects.
We in Guyana have embraced the concept of comprehensive disaster management. The central focus of which is to place greater emphasis on the impacts of climate change, to incorporate more prevention and mitigation measures, and to integrate its components into the National Disaster Risk Management Agenda.
The government of Brazil, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, requested that repairs be undertaken to the roads and bridges used to access these selected areas in advance of the drilling operation. Following assessments conducted by the ministry, it was discovered that sections of the roadway and numerous bridges had declined significantly, which led to the Ministry of Public Infrastructure subsequently undertaking urgent repairs to the roads and bridges.
The project was divided into 3 lots, with Lot 1 being Lethem to Aishalton, north to south, Lot 2 Aishalton to Shia, south to east, and Lot 3 Aishalton to Baishandram, south to west. When we visited the area in September, Region 9 engineer Raphael Lewis informed us that to date, the rehabilitation works are progressing and are expected to be completed by the deadline.
We're just ensuring that the roads are in proper condition for the Brazilians to come through, right, with their machinery, right, with the heaviest one being about 57,000 tons. Which would be a low bed, and the well drilling machines, because they plan to start from 2 different ends. One, from Shia, which is, they plan to start from Shia and having set up a base in Aishalton.
Lots 1 and 2 were awarded to JR Ranch Incorporated and International Import Supplies Construction Companies, respectively. Lot 3 was done by the Guyana Defence Force. Manager for International Import and Supplies, Roshan Ramprasad, said from Aishalton to Awarano have been completed, after which they move on to Mararano and Shia.
It was basically a trail, and we had to excavate a lot of soft spots. Our scope of works is to open the width of the road, truck some materials, mostly gravel, put down some HDP pipes. Well, we had some challenges with the heavy equipment and the swampy areas where the equipment got stuck and stuff. You know, we have to be very careful. Yeah, that was some of the challenges here. It's very swampy and soft savanna area, so you have to be very careful.
Prior to the works, only motorcycles were capable of traversing the road. However, following the upgrades, motor vehicles and trucks can now traverse. By October 2, the roads were completed. Hinterland engineer Jeffrey Walcott explained the roads in the South Rupununi have not been upgraded for years because of various impediments. He, however, said the newly done roads are expected to withstand the elements of weather and last long after the wells have been drilled.
The idea has always been that we're willing to work with all the agencies to support the objectives that they're trying to achieve. And for a project such as this that has national significance between both countries, it is something that we would do our best, at least would have given our best to try to help achieve. So for us, it is never really a time. We always plan in advance, and we try to use dependable contractors, those who we know can get the job done. So it's not just about trying to mitigate your challenges, even with the constraints that you're working. It was a good experience in terms of having to deal with a lot of different constraints, because for a long time we haven't done much work in the Deep South, and it was a good opportunity to kind of do an assessment as well as to rehabilitate some of the roads. With the work that we were able to accomplish, we'd like to come back in the new year and get even more work done, because the distance that you have to cover, it's immense. A lot of the areas have been untouched for a very long time. And I think it's essential, based on the kind of work that we're seeing and the transformation that it's having in the areas, that we have to continue. The areas themselves are very difficult to get to, and the Deep South is one of the, it's quite remote. And it takes an extensive amount of resources to mobilize to these areas, especially with contractors who are not within the region. So that being considered, the areas, we just come out of an extensive wet season, and the damage to the roads was quite tremendous. So I think all in all, it's not something that we were unable to overcome, but there were significant challenges at the start. What we will have is we'll have the contractors maybe working for a specified duration after the operation, just to ensure that the roads don't deteriorate significantly. But we want to include at least the roads within this area in a more comprehensive maintenance program in the new year, maybe 2019, moving forward.
In less than 2 months, work on the wells were completed and will provide the residents with access to large quantities of water. The wells, located in 8 communities across Region 9, were handed over on November 28.
At the official handover ceremony held in Aishalton, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Carl Greenidge, began his feature address by commending the Brazilian and Guyana teams for an outstanding job in completing the wells on schedule in less than 2 months. The minister noted the project comes at an opportune time when Guyana and Brazil are celebrating 50 years of diplomatic relations. He stated maintaining the diplomatic relations required lots of work and collaboration, which is evident at the event. The minister noted that the project comes at an opportune time when Guyana and Brazil are celebrating 50 years of diplomatic relations. He stated maintaining the diplomatic relations required lots of work and collaboration, evidenced by the day's event.
Between March 1997 and April 1998, for example, we were struck by one of the most severe droughts in Guyana's modern history, where the rainfall levels were exceptionally low, the outfalls from the rivers, as well as the flow of water was achieved exceptionally low levels. We've responded to these in the past by various means, the distribution of water tanks, water pumps. There is a risk reduction management center as well as the CDC.
The project was a joint venture between the Engineering Corps of the Guyana Defence Force and the 6th Construction Battalion of the Brazilian Armed Forces, with support from the Civil Defence Commission, Guyana Defence Force, Guyana Water Incorporated, Hydrometeorological Office, and the Ministries of Communities and Public Infrastructure. Providing an overview of the project, Commanding Officer of the 6th BEC Brazilian Army, Lieutenant Colonel Vandir Pierre Soares, highlighted that the first batch of Brazilian Army arrived in September and drilling of the wells commenced on October 1.
In Aishalton, please. Overview of our work in Aishalton, please. Another view where we have 80 meters deep, 5,000 liters per hour, and conclusion 16th November. Caranal, please. We have 82 meters depth, flow rate 4,500 liters per hour, and conclusion 16th November.
Minister of State Joseph Harmon noted that while the project initially faced challenges, it was successfully completed on time due to interagency cooperation. The minister reaffirmed the project is a reflection of government's commitment towards providing all citizens with a good life regardless of where they are.
We had fantastic cooperation from several ministries of the government. We had meetings of this interagency group, several meetings at the Ministry of the Presidency in the Cabinet Room, some meetings at the Civil Defense Commission, and some meetings at Lethem and here in Aishalton.
Regional Chairman of Region 9, Brian Alicock, thanked the Brazilian Army, the Guyana Defence Force, and other partners who worked assiduously to make the project a reality. He indicated that now that water is available in the region, other important projects, including the processing of produce, can be pursued.
Every one of us here, standing here, played a part in this whole thing, whole exercise. And, of course, when you look at the men, our side, not everybody comes from this region, the Guyana Defence Force, they left their homes to spend 2 months with us here. Most of the Brazilians on the other side left their families and everybody else to come and help us over here to achieve what we have achieved so far.
Tushaus and residents alike also welcomed the new wells. Some said the new well is a first in their communities and will tremendously aid them.
The well that has been drilled in the village, I'm so happy about that. And I know that it will benefit my villagers in the future, especially when we have this dry season. And it's like 200 feet down, and they said it's a lot of water, so I'm very happy about that.
The wells in our community, it would benefit the whole community. To me, then, from my point of view, it is something that will kind of develop our community. The school will get water. The school, the health posts, and also the churches. We have it in a kind of close, So I think it is something that is good for our communities, and we really appreciate it very much, very much.
I feel very great about it. I feel pleased and I feel comfortable. I really appreciate the great work that they have done in my village. Where I am here now, I am, I feel much comfortable because that was our main concern in my community.
Myself and the people of the village are very happy about it because it is going to serve the people there in addition to the present village well we had, which is used by one hand pump. And that serves the people during dry and rainy season. And now that we have an additional drilled well, it will be something very good to all of us because it is going to serve the other public buildings that are without running water facility right now.
The way we could benefit from the well is through because we don't really have water all over the place. wells, and it would be a huge benefit for everyone in the community, especially the school.
From this project, the Guyana Defense Force has undeniably received valuable training in the construction, development, and maintenance of wells. The mission also saw the sharing of knowledge, culture, and forge lasting relationships. This brings us to the end of this Info Hub Extended. Thanks for watching, and do join us again next time.